Now, I know enthusiasts don't get excited about cars like this, but here in Quebec, the subcompact sedan is insanely popular. Now, we did feature the 2018 Kia Rio 5-door earlier on, and now we're taking a look at what its brother from Hyundai has to offer. Our spotlight today is on this 2018 Hyundai Accent. We're going to be showing you everything about this car and everything you need to know if you're in the market for a sub $20,000 subcompact car. Now, there isn't a whole lot to surprise with this car, and I think we even mentioned that when we did the Kia Rio. But up front, you do have projector-based halogen headlights and fog lights. We don't particularly like them, but it is a very affordable vehicle, so you don't really expect to get anything but that on this car. Aside from that, there really isn't a whole lot going around. You do have contact points on the door handles up front so you can get into the vehicle. And the trunk, it's actually pretty good size. We were really impressed. We were able to load it up with a lot of groceries and get quite a bit in there. So trunk size is quite good, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are still going to be looking at this car because, again, it's affordable, but you actually do get quite a bit of cargo room and space for passengers. The interior here is pretty straightforward. You do have your media screen up top, and it does support Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and we do like it. It is pretty much the same thing that they use on the Kia line of vehicles, but the UI color scheme is a little bit different. But aside from that, it's quite nice. You have a basic radio. It has Sirius XM, AM, FM, and then you can plug in your device. Moving down, you have a single zone automatic climate control. It works pretty well. And then front heated seats and a heated driver's steering wheel. And that's one of the things that we mentioned with the Rio is the fact that you get those features. It is very nice at this price point. You know, you can certainly live without air conditioning, especially in our climate here. You roll the windows down during the summer, you're good to go. But in the winter, especially when it's like minus 30 degrees out, it is really nice to have heated seats and a heated steering wheel. So those features are nice to have. Aside from that, seats are pretty comfortable up here. I have no complaints when we're driving around. It is comfortable, and I do find that the space is pretty spacious considering that this is a subcompact sedan. In the back seat, our daughter had zero issues with space, and even I can fit in there for the most part. I probably wouldn't be wanting to sit back there for an extended period of time, but I do fit and it does work. I actually liked the drive of the Kia Rio, so it'd be very silly if we didn't actually find the same thing to be true with the Hyundai Accent. Now, the 1.6 liter engine is not very powerful, 130 horsepower. For a car this size is all right, but I mean, for the most part, you have to remember that this is a subcompact car that people are buying because they want something new, they want a warranty, they don't want to go into the used market, and really they're just looking for more or less the bare minimum in order to get the job done, you know, get to work, get to school, whatever it may be. This works quite well, and especially here in Quebec with the heated seats and steering wheel, there are nice pluses to have. Plus, this does have air conditioning, so during the summer too, you'll be a little bit cooler than you would otherwise. But for the most part, it gets the job done. You get, you know, 4 doors, 4 wheels, and like we said in the walk around, the trunk space is actually quite good. When it comes to performance, like I said, 130 horsepower is not very quick, but for the most part, this car does drive relatively well. It's very similar to the Kia Rio. Obviously, as a sedan, it is slightly different, a little bit longer, but overall, I mean, it's a subcompact car. You can't really ask too much from it, and for the most part, you get what you pay for. And that's the only thing, though. You know, you'll notice in our spec screen at the beginning, we've put estimate or starting as $14,999. There is no pricing yet for this car. It's not officially launched yet. So as we're driving along here, for the most part, people aren't going to really recognize this, but this is a new design for 2018. So if you actually, maybe if you work for a Hyundai dealership, we actually did notice when we were out in one of the little towns around here a few days ago, we parked near a Hyundai dealership, and I think they were curious because they don't have these cars yet for sale. They probably have them in the dealerships, but they're not allowed to sell them. And here we are driving around in one. And yeah, I do like the look of it. It's a nice looking car. They're handsome. They're cute, actually. I go as far as to say this car is a cute looking car. And especially in this red color, it certainly does help to pop in, you know, especially a nice day like this. It is quite sunny out, so it does help to shine off the paint. And I have to say that, you know, it's, again, a subcompact car. I know we've mentioned that a few times now. How much fun can you really have driving it? I don't know. Depends on you, really. How much fun are you going to have? I think that it's an enjoyable enough drive for what you're paying for. And again, we don't have the full pricing yet, but we're kind of expecting it to land in the ballpark of the Kia. So roughly 20,000 Canuck bucks for something like this. They do start, as I mentioned, at $14,999, but you get what you pay for. And like I've mentioned, it is pretty popular here in Quebec, and I think it's popular elsewhere as well, not just here in this province. I think people across Canada do look at these cars because, again, you do get the features that you absolutely need. You do need to have air conditioning in a lot of parts. You do need to have a heated steering wheel and heated seats, especially if you have to scrape the ice off the car in the middle of the winter and your hands are cold and your bottom is freezing cold. It is nice to be able to warm it up, because the last thing you want is to get hypothermia. So you do have what you need, and the price, you can't really argue with it. We'll go from a dig here. 40 kilometers. There you go. Like we mentioned with the 2018 Kia Rio 5 Sport we featured earlier, this Hyundai Accent is expected to have a very competitive price with a really handsome design overall. The infotainment system is our top pick in the consumer segment, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay gives you the ability to use navigation at this price point. You also can't argue that the heated steering wheel at this price is a huge plus, with a lot of premium and luxury segment vehicles still requiring costly packages just to get this feature. Finally, the Accent adds forward collision warning and emergency autonomous braking, which the Rio didn't have. There's still not much to dislike about this car. The option to add radar cruise control would be nice, considering it already has the front sensor. The road noise also felt louder in this car, and we often heard debris hitting the undercarriage or the wheel wells. Rear headroom also feels lower than the Rio, but that could be due to the sedan body style. I wasn't able to get my head into a comfortable position while sitting in the back. But overall, this is a nice update to Hyundai's entry-level car, and shows that design can still be interesting at this price point. Thanks for watching this episode of Test Drive Spotlight on the 2018 Hyundai Accent GLS. Do you prefer this over the Kia Rio? Let us know in the comments below, and also let us know what you think of this shorter show format. We're always working to tweak the format around the cars that we have and make sure that the content is interesting and informative based on what we're featuring. Until next time, take care.